It's time to go camping. This is a little different for me, but it seems to have worked. Good night, guys. We'll see you in the morning. Oh, well, gang, it's about 3:45, and I made it a lot longer than I expected. I'm getting to the point now where in the sleeping bag, my upper body and my legs were okay, but my feet were starting to get cold. And so, you know, you get to a point where you just know, you just kind of know you're not falling back asleep, you know. So I'm gonna get the fire going again. I don't know if I'm gonna go back to sleep. I'm gonna see. It's gonna take a little bit. I'm gonna need to probably warm my body temperature back up before I could get back in that bag again, and even think about laying down. But yeah, pretty chilled. I mean, I'm not freezing cold here, so, you know, this is not a panic mode thing, but I definitely want to start to kind of get the fire going again. So yeah, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna be as quick as I can about it. I've got the fire kind of stoked back up here. Feels nice. And you know, just putting my shoes on has really helped my feet kind of warm up considerably. I'm just gonna sit here and kind of feed the fire and hang out for a bit. Well, I was able to just take my work light and walk just, I don't know, maybe 40 feet up the hill here behind camp. And there's the cedar tree that had fallen. In some earlier footage, I was clearing some kindling off of that cedar tree, although I didn't take the tree at the time. So it was close by, I knew it was there. So I went and I sawed off about 3 pieces, about that wide. I'm sorry, about that long. And put 2 of the rounds here on the fire just to start kind of, you know, working on getting hot and catching. And then I split one of them down the middle. There's still some more wood on that cedar tree, and just so that I don't use my whole pile, you know, that I was planning to use for breakfast, here just right now trying to stay warm, you know, I may, as I need it, I may kind of keep going back to that tree. How about those pants? The man. One shoe at a time around here. Now if I could just bring that heat into this sleeping bag down there where the feet are, that'd be right on. It's 20 minutes to 5, and my Ozark work trail light just bit the dust. It ran out of juice, so I've pushed it to its limit. So really, until the sun comes up, this is honestly right here, this is gonna be about the best lighting that I can get. I wanted to share a thought that I had as I was sitting here. I found myself sitting here warming up, but anxiously kind of waiting for the sun to come up. And not getting mad, but I found myself almost getting frustrated because there was so long to wait for the sun to come up. Then I asked myself, well, why do I want the sun to come up so bad? Is it so I can take better film or what? And I don't think that's the answer. I think the answer was so I can do stuff. so I can do things, you know. It got me to thinking about how in today's society, how oriented we all are to doing things. You know, and in that moment, I took a breath and I thanked the earth and everything around me for being what it is. The sun will come up in its own time. But for now, the earth and this space is telling me to sit and be still. And I need to listen. It's starting to lighten up. The first birds just started chirping. There's a little light fog in the air. What a way to start your morning, right? You can't get this inside of a house or an apartment or a townhome or anything. Waking up with nature. All right, breakfast this morning. I've got my little bushcraft frying pan here. I put a little lard in there to grease it up a little bit. I've got some water heating up here for some grits, and we're gonna fry up some sausage. Sausage and grits this morning. Sausage is flavored with a little bit of, I think it was like a maple syrup flavoring. Oh, just another minute and they're gonna be done. Oh yeah, those sausages are done. I'm gonna set that off to the side. Let's check and see how our water's doing. A little longer. How about that sausage? I tell you what, let's try one of these sausages. See if I'm gonna burn myself. Delish. Ooh, I look tired. I really feel good. I know I'm gonna be tired later today, but I feel great. Being out here is like hitting the reset button. Two packets this morning. And number 2, I love grits. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, grits are great. Nice and warm. They stick to you. They burn your mouth. All right, so breakfast is done. And like I mentioned, this is uphill back below camp, or just beyond it, down this hill at the bottom there. There's a little kind of runoff area, a little creek runoff area Not heavy flowing water, but a few spots. So I'm gonna walk down to the little water runoff area down there and see if I can find a little pool to wash my dishes out in. You know, if, I brought my shemagh, and that thing is really handy, but there happens to be a good little patch of moss right here, and like on the bottom of my canteen cup here, it gets sooty and ashy and things like that. So, man, moss makes a really great kind of scrubber if you don't happen to have a scrubber available. Okay, I just thought I'd take you on just a quick tour of camp before I break it down, since I really didn't get a chance to yesterday before it got dark. I'll just work left to right here. This is a great way to string up your backpack if you can't find a twig or a branch, you know, big enough, strong enough to hold your pack, and it also means that you're not using all of the weight of the pack on this one handle. Is just to, what I've done is just lashed, you know, I've just lashed around there on the tree using fraps and wraps and whatnot, and that means you can run your shoulder straps through, and that's where the weight would normally fall. And if you hang it at the right height, it makes it easy to access, and you don't have to keep taking it down, so that's really handy. So working kind of now inside camp, of course we've got our fire here, you've seen plenty of that. I kept most of my kitchen stuff and food items over here. I used these fallen trees to construct kind of my loft. I really didn't use the space underneath. I did keep some wood stored here, but I ended up using all of that. I liked it. I thought it was fine. It kept me off the ground. I've got my insulated air pad and my Kelty 40-degree bag. So straight up about the sleeping bag, you know, I got cold. It lasted most of the night. It was close to 4 before I started to get chilled. And, you know, I want to say this, that doesn't mean that I need to go to REI or the store and go buy a 20-degree bag. I mean, I could, that is one option, but I'm not giving up yet. I don't do a lot of hard cold weather camping, and if I do, maybe I do need to go pick up like a 20-degree bag or something like that. But there's some options, you know. I could maybe, instead of a new sleeping bag, I could maybe look into like a bivy bag. I have a wool blanket. It might be that if I just took the wool blanket and put it inside of the sleeping bag, then that would also continue to help insulate it and might raise it enough that it would be comfortable. Also, you know, the fire, this was a really small fire. And in the extreme cold, I think what I would do is have more of a longer fire, one that, you know, almost ran the full length of my body, or not, maybe not quite that long, but you know, more of a long fire to help keep more warmth up. What I could also do if I do colder stuff is I could do some Reflectix emergency blanket, right? And I could strap that to my tarp so that it would reflect the heat that would come from the fire. So I've got some ideas. I don't need to run to the store and immediately buy a new bag just because my 40-degree one didn't work. But I've got some options, and I'm going to be testing those out. So I'm going to go ahead and strike camp. It's 8:20. I've struck camp except for just doing away with these boards. And I've got to make sure the fire is completely out, but I'm almost there. It's taken me a while to get camp struck. There was a lot of stuff to put away, so I just thought I'd check in here at the very finish. I am gonna spread these out some. It's impossible probably with all of like the cuts that I've made on these boards for it to be a leave no trace. I mean, if somebody came through here and saw this laying on the ground with a cut like that, you know, they'd know I was here. They would know somebody had been here. So the no trace is difficult, but I can definitely clean it up a good bit. Okay, so I've stomped the fire out a little, and now we'll make sure she's all good. More for good measure. Pour it out for my homies and my homies. There we go. I'm gonna call that one safe. All right, I'm leaving camp now. I'm all packed up, and I'll catch up with you one more time when I make it to the canoe and as I'm paddling out. There's the canoe. Everything's in order. Stick around. This is going to be a very interesting paddle. I don't have a lot of battery left on my device, but I hope I've got enough to get this. This is pretty remarkable. Wow. The visibility out here is low. It's like paddling in a cloud. Oh man. I mean, look at that. It's a good thing I know exactly where I'm going. Oh man, that's awesome. Good morning. Man, I'm in no hurry to get out of here. This is something else. Boy, it's peaceful. Man, this is what I'm talking about. Explore your land, people. I mean, this is literally 20 minutes from just a crazy busy city, you know, with like 35,000 people that are crammed in it. And I doubt that 80% of them, if that, know that this is even here. Man, I don't care if the battery just runs clean out. If it does, then just know that I appreciate all the support and the views, and that I'll keep doing more of this. So make sure you subscribe, or just check in with me every once in a while, however you want to do it. But we'll see you next time. I'm just gonna let this one paddle out. you.